Right at the start of the video, we invite our viewers to stay until the end to discover the magic word of the day, which they can comment to enter our weekly contest for exciting prizes. On the fringes of Minnesota, with temperatures diving to a frigid -22 degrees, two tiny figures curled up in a shallow ditch along County Road 45. Would you dare to venture out in such vicious cold? What would you give to save a life? Let's talk about those limits in the comments below. The January wind violently wailed over the snow-laden fields, each blast endangering the faint flicker of life in the two forsaken puppies. The smaller dog, a golden retriever mix with tangled fur, huddled closely to her sibling, a black and white husky mix. Their mother had been gone for 3 days, and the cardboard box left for them had already crumbled under the snow. Just a bit more. Luna, the husky mix, whom nearby farmers would later call Storm, appeared to communicate as he curled his body closer around his sibling. At just 8 weeks old, they ought not to have been separated from their mother, much less enduring one of the coldest nights in Minnesota's recent past. Their exhales emerged as tiny, progressively fainter clouds of steam. Luna's ears, previously perked and attentive, now sagged with cold. Storm's naturally thick coat provided a bit more insulation, yet he still shook violently. The snow surrounding them had developed a frozen layer, immobilizing them. Half a mile distant, Tom Henderson was completing his nighttime barn inspection. Have you ever trusted a gut feeling that seemed impossible to ignore? Tom did. Do you think gut instincts are just random, or is there something more at play? Share your thoughts with us. At 67, the retired veterinarian continued to care for his small hobby farm, primarily for rescue animals that were too old or injured for anyone else to adopt. Something caused him to stop as he returned to his cozy, heated home. "Martha," he shouted to his wife of 40 years, "I will drive the road once more." Martha glanced up from her quilting, worry evident on her face. "Tom, it's risky out there. The temperature continues to decrease." "I understand, my love," he answered, already donning his thickest winter attire. Yet something seems off. Do you recall how we discovered old Rex last winter? At times, you simply have a feeling. Tom's old pickup truck slowly made its way along County Road 45, its headlights slicing through the whirling snow. He had driven this route numerous times, but tonight seemed unique. The gauge on his dashboard continued to decrease. 23 degrees, 24 degrees. Good heavens, he murmured, peering through the icy windshield. His headlights spotted something glinting in the ditch, maybe just ice. Yet, he then noticed it. The slightest motion, a faint dark head rising feebly against the pale surroundings. Tom almost lost control of the vehicle in his urgency to halt. Seizing his emergency kit and strong flashlight, he battled the wind to get to the ditch. "Oh dear God," he exhaled, his heart shattering at the view. 2 puppies almost buried in snow, their bodies snugly pressed so closely they appeared as a single being. The black and white one, Storm, lifted his head once more, emitting a faint whimper that was nearly drowned out by the wind. The golden one remained completely still. Tom's veterinary education took effect right away. He dismissed his outer coat in the harsh cold and thoughtfully enveloped it around both puppies. Their body heat would be perilously low. Mishandling them could induce shock. "Hold on, kids," he murmured, holding them tightly while he fought his way back to the truck. The wind had intensified, transforming the brief stretch into a challenge of stamina. His fingers, subject to the chill, started to throb with discomfort. Within the truck, he turned the heater up high and grabbed his phone. "Martha, Prepare the dining room as we did for Rex and contact Dr. Sarah. We will require her. The ride back was agonizing. Tom frequently glanced at the package on his passenger seat, observing for any signs of movement. Storm's gaze was locked onto him, reflecting a trust that appeared unbelievable, considering their situation. Luna remained completely still. Martha stood by the door when he arrived, their dining room having already been converted into an emergency care space. The spacious table was cleared, heating pads connected, and their assortment of veterinary supplies arranged. Dr. Sarah is en route, Martha announced, assisting Tom in bringing the puppies inside. She mentioned she's bringing emergency fluids. She halted mid-sentence as she unwrapped Tom's coat. Luna lay utterly motionless, her tiny body stiff and unmoving. Storm remained tightly wrapped around her, unwilling to release her, despite attempts to separate them for treatment. Dr. Sarah reached the farm in 15 minutes, her vehicle sliding a bit on the driveway. At 32, she was among the most esteemed emergency veterinarians in the region, having trained with Tom before his retirement. "Over on the dining room table," Martha shouted as Sarah rushed in, medical kit in tow. "The golden one. She's not..." Sarah's expression hardened as she evaluated the circumstances. Luna's body heat was so low, it wouldn't show on a regular thermometer. Storm's was just under 94 degrees Celsius, alarmingly low, but still persevering. "We're not abandoning hope," Sarah stated promptly, preparing an IV line for heated fluids. "Tom, bring me those heating pads, but keep in mind, we need to warm them slowly. Excessive speed might lead to organ failure." They operated with skillful accuracy. Martha cocooned Storm in warm towels as he finally permitted himself to part ways with his sister. His gaze remained fixed on Luna's motionless body, and quiet whimpers slipped from him, despite his serious state. "Come on, darling," Sarah whispered, gently injecting a bit of warm saline beneath Luna's skin. "Fight for us." For 20 minutes they toiled in deep silence, interrupted only by the raging wind outside and Storm's sporadic whimpers. Tom kept an eye on Storm's temperature, while Sarah concentrated on Luna, employing every method she was aware of to battle death itself. Then, so subtle they nearly overlooked it, Luna's tail moved. "Martha, grab another heating pad," Sarah shouted, her voice strained with restrained excitement. "She's still hanging on." Luna's following breath came as a trembling gasp. Her tiny body twitched slightly as warmth started to flow back into her limbs. Storm, noticing his sister's motions, attempted to crawl towards her, despite his own frailty. "Take it easy, courageous lad," Tom comforted, softly holding Storm back. "Let's stabilize both of you first." In the next hour, Luna's temperature gradually rose, color came back to her gums, and her breathing grew steadier. Storm's health got better faster, but he still felt anxious when he couldn't see his sister. "I need to find out who did this," Martha said softly, her usual gentle tone revealing her anger. "Who abandons puppies in such conditions?" Tom felt her outrage, yet his attention stayed on the puppies. They both required urgent care to make it through the night. Even at that time, the possibility of complications from hypothermia remained significant. Sarah made another batch of warm drinks, her professional composure relaxing slightly to reveal her emotional involvement. "These two," she remarked, observing Storm reach out toward Luna once more. "They're true fighters." His warmth likely saved her long enough for you to discover them. Outside, the temperature kept plummeting, but within the Hendersons' dining room, a small miracle was happening. Two tiny hearts persevering, united by a love more powerful than the harshest night. Throughout the extended night, the Hendersons and Dr. Sarah kept their watch. Each hour presented fresh challenges. Luna experienced a seizure around midnight, causing everyone to hold their breath, while Storm had tremors that required almost 2 hours to manage. Martha maintained a consistently warm temperature by making countless trips to keep the wood stove burning brightly. She also ensured a steady supply of heated blankets, changing them as necessary. At about 3:00 a.m., she spotted something extraordinary. "Tom," she murmured, pointing to the table. "Check it out." Storm, whose temperature had ultimately balanced out, had somehow succeeded in moving nearer to Luna. His nose barely grazed her ear, and with every breath she took, his tail would wag ever so slightly. Do you believe animals can feel emotions as deeply as humans? Their bond seems to suggest so. Is it time we reassess how we perceive animal emotions? "That's the type of love that can save lives," Tom murmured, his voice heavy with feeling. Throughout his 40 years as a veterinarian, he witnessed numerous instances of animals assisting one another. Yet the connection between the puppies resonated profoundly with him. As dawn neared, Dr. Sarah finally permitted herself to take a seat, worn out yet content. "They're going to pull through," she declared, reviewing Luna's most recent temperature reading. "They'll require close observation for the upcoming days, but they've overcome the worst." The sunrise introduced a fresh series of difficulties. Both puppies were notably dehydrated and underfed, evidently having been deserted for several days prior to Tom rescuing them. Their paw pads exhibited indications of frostbite needing meticulous care, and Luna's right ear had endured some tissue injury from the harsh cold. "I'll contact the sheriff," Martha declared, preparing another pot of coffee. Someone must be held responsible for this. However, when Sheriff Mike Davidson came later that morning, his inquiry uncovered a tragic tale. A neighbor mentioned witnessing a dark vehicle halt momentarily on County Road 45, 3 days prior, at the onset of the cold weather. The details corresponded to a car linked to a nearby puppy mill that was being investigated. "The mother dog was discovered yesterday," the sheriff stated somberly. "She had also been abandoned, roughly 10 miles to the north. She couldn't survive the chill." The announcement struck deeply. Storm, seemingly aware, emitted a prolonged, sorrowful whine. Luna nestled closer to him, their combined warmth providing comfort rather than just a means to survive. Don't lose the chance to share this heartwarming story with 3 friends who believe in the power of love and resilience. Your share could inspire change and awareness. "Well," Tom stated confidently, observing the puppies helping one another, "they have a home now." "It seems our retirement just became a little more exciting," Martha answered, her eyes brimming with tears of happiness. "If there was ever any uncertainty," she went on, already considering where to place their beds and what items they would require. Dr. Sarah grinned as she packed her emergency kit. "I'll swing by the clinic and bring some puppy formula and special food. They will require meticulous refeeding to prevent issues." The following weeks turned the Hendersons' serene farmhouse into a lively puppy recuperation center. Luna and Storm demonstrated the same resilience in their healing as they had shown in their survival. Although her ear was frostbitten and would stay somewhat crumpled, Luna grew to have a constantly wagging tail and a fondness for belly rubs. Storm, living up to his name, took on a protective role, safeguarding not just Luna, but the whole household. He informed Tom each time Luna required care, and quickly discovered how to tell Martha when the wood stove required additional fuel. His intelligence impressed even Dr. Sarah, who kept making regular house visits. "It's impressive," she remarked one afternoon, observing Storm lead Luna away from a hot radiator. He has basically taken on the role of her service dog. I've never witnessed anything exactly like it. The puppy mill inquiry intensified, in part because of the public anger regarding the tale of Luna and Storm. Local news outlets reported on it, resulting in heightened pressure for law enforcement to respond. In less than a month, the operation was closed, resulting in the rescue of more than 30 dogs. Martha set up a designated area in the living room for the puppies, equipped with heated beds and an abundance of soft blankets. Despite having individual beds, Storm and Luna frequently found themselves sleeping side by side, their bodies entwined like on that chilly night. They still believe they must keep each other warm, Tom noted one evening, observing them cuddle, despite the pleasant room temperature. Perhaps they don't have to, Martha responded gently. Perhaps they desire to. As spring neared, Luna's golden fur became thick and shiny again, revealing no evidence of her struggles except for her somewhat bent ear. Storm grew the impressive fur characteristic of huskies, although he stayed below average size, likely a result of his initial malnutrition. Their tales circulated in the community, motivating others to combat animal cruelty. The nearby shelter announced an increase in adoptions, especially of connected pairs of dogs. The county also enacted fresh legislation called the Luna Storm Law, instituting tougher penalties for abandoning animals. Tom and Martha's farm turned into a bit of a community attraction, as schools sought excursions to educate kids on animal care and empathy. Luna was especially great with kids, while Storm showcased his impressive protective nature. A notably heartfelt instance occurred when another saved puppy, Milk, arrived at the farm. The frightened animal wouldn't react to human touch, but Luna and Storm slowly moved closer, demonstrating through their behavior that she was secure. By the time they turned 1, Luna and Storm had become local sensations. Their tale had moved emotions well beyond their modest Minnesota town, prompting alterations in animal welfare legislation in surrounding states. However, more significantly, they had turned the Hendersons' farm into a refuge for additional rescued animals. With Dr. Sarah's assistance, Tom and Martha started taking on additional emergency cases, especially in severe weather conditions. The dining room that functioned as an emergency clinic that fateful night was appropriately transformed into a small treatment space. Storm appeared to possess an innate intuition regarding newcomers, frequently signaling to Tom even before they heard a vehicle approaching the driveway. Luna cultivated her own unique ability. She had an uncanny knack for detecting when other animals were suffering, often resting quietly alongside ill or hurt arrivals, providing the same solace her brother had shown her during their most challenging moments. "It's as if they're passing it on," Dr. Sarah remarked after observing Luna comfort an injured cat. They recall what it felt like to seek assistance, and now they're aiding others. The subsequent winter, nearly a year after their rescue, something remarkable occurred. During another severe cold spell, Storm grew strangely restless one evening, walking back and forth and whimpering at the door. "What's the matter, boy?" Tom inquired, having come to rely on the dog's instincts. Storm guided them through the swirling snow to the exact ditch where he and Luna had been discovered. There, almost hidden beneath the snow, lay a cardboard box with 3 kittens inside. "He knew," Martha murmured, assisting Tom in collecting the kittens. "He must have sensed they were there." The kittens thrived due to Storm's timely alert and Luna's caring support throughout their healing. They became part of the expanding family in what locals currently refer to as the Henderson Hope Farm. As their tale circulated, contributions started coming in from across the nation. Individuals sent blankets, food items, and medical resources. A nearby contractor offered to construct a suitable animal shelter extension for the barn. Kids submitted drawings of Luna and Storm, which Martha proudly showcased on the fridge. The most significant influence likely stemmed from the educational initiatives that evolved around their tale. Tom and Martha started welcoming school groups, instructing kids on animal care and the significance of compassion. Luna and Storm were instinctive educators, showing patience and kindness with every child they encountered. "Notice this ear?" Tom would remark, gesturing to Luna's slightly bent ear. It reminds us that even when difficulties arise, love can aid our healing. Observe how she leverages that experience to assist others. During these visits, Storm frequently showcased his protective instincts by placing himself between the children and any perceived dangers, all while maintaining a gentle and calm demeanor that helped everyone feel comfortable. The puppies that once clustered in 22 degrees Celsius temperatures had become symbols of hope. Their tale of survival, inspiring hearts, and transforming lives in ways their abandoners could never foresee. 5 years following that cold night, the Henderson Hope Farm had turned into a famous animal haven. Luna and Storm, now lovely grown dogs, continued to be its heart and spirit. Their initial tale had led to the creation of a children's book, The Warmth of Love, utilized in schools to promote empathy and compassion. On one especially unforgettable day, in yet another harsh Minnesota winter, a young girl in a wheelchair came to the farm with her class. As other kids played joyfully, she remained behind, observing sadly from afar. Luna saw right away. Without any encouragement, she softly moved closer to the girl, resting her head on her lap. Storm trailed behind, arranging himself defensively on her opposite side. The girl's face brightened with happiness as the two dogs demonstrated their unwavering affection. "They understand," her teacher murmured to Martha, dabbing her tears. "In some way, they realize she required extra love today." The girl's parents later mentioned that this was the first time their daughter had grinned since her accident 3 months ago. She started to visit the farm regularly, and her physiotherapist observed significant enhancements in her motivation throughout her recovery. Tom, now in his early 70s, had officially transitioned most of the veterinary responsibilities to Dr. Sarah, who collaborated with the farm to establish a full-time rescue clinic. Nevertheless, he continued to oversee the general care of their permanent residents, with Storm as his loyal aide. "Check this out," he would say to guests, showing how Storm could identify medical problems in other animals before the humans even recognized any symptoms. The husky mix had acquired an almost otherworldly skill to detect animals in trouble, while Luna became recognized as the farm's caretaker, offering solace to healing animals. The farm currently shelters more than 50 long-term residents, dogs, cats, horses, and a handful of rescued farm animals. Every individual had their own tale of endurance, yet they were united by the legacy of 2 puppies that would not allow the chill to conquer their spirits. Martha had fashioned a unique wall in the primary barn, adorned with images and narratives of their achievements. At the heart of this exhibit was the original newspaper article featuring Luna and Storm. Its headline worn yet still legible: "Miracle Puppies Survive, -22 degrees. Night through brother's love." On especially frigid nights, guests would often spot Luna and Storm nestled together, just as they had been in that snowy ditch, but now enveloped in warmth, affection, and frequently accompanied by other animals seeking solace in their serene presence. Don't lose the chance to share this heartwarming story with 3 friends who believe in the power of love and resilience. Your share could inspire change and awareness. "You know what I believe?" Martha remarked one evening, observing the two dogs embrace a newly rescued puppy into their nightly ritual. That night signified more than just survival. It represented a greater purpose. Those two were destined to be discovered, intended to demonstrate to us all the power of love. Tom nodded, recalling the instinct that had prompted him to venture out for his last inspection that icy night. Every comment supports our message of love and resilience. For every single comment, we commit to support another animal in need. Let's transform these stories into reality, one comment at a time. Storm raised his head and let out a gentle woof as Luna's tail thumped rhythmically against the ground. Outside, the Minnesota winter continued to roar, but within the Henderson Hope farm, the warmth of kindness and care formed a refuge more powerful than any tempest. Thus, the legacy of two little puppies who once snuggled together in urgent hope kept expanding, impacting more lives with every day, demonstrating that often the tiniest creatures can bring about the greatest transformations, and that genuine love can brighten the coldest nights. As we celebrate Luna and Storm's legacy, remember, subscribing, liking, and commenting is simple, free, and helps us continue to bring important stories like these to the forefront. Let's make a difference together. Want to know how this incredible journey evolves? The next video is packed with another tale of extraordinary survival you'll never want to miss. Hit the bell icon to stay updated. A decade after their rescue, Luna and Storm's impact had reached well beyond Minnesota. The Henderson Hope Farm had turned into a standard for animal sanctuaries across the country, with groups from locations as distant as Alaska and Florida dispatching representatives to observe their methods. The Luna Storm Protocol for animal rescues in cold weather has been embraced by emergency veterinary services throughout the northern states. Their tale ignited a movement, resulting in the establishment of the Winter Watch Initiative, a group of volunteers who monitor rural regions during severe weather, looking for deserted animals. One of the most moving stories emerged from an unlikely place. Jennifer Martinez, the child of a convicted puppy mill owner, became one of the farm's most devoted volunteers. "I had to atone for my family's actions," she shared, while being filmed for a documentary. "Seeing Luna and Storm assist traumatized animals made me realize that recovery is achievable, even from the most painful starts." The educational initiatives at the farm had grown significantly. They currently organized summer camps for kids with disabilities or trauma histories, where Luna and Storm were key participants in animal-assisted therapy activities. The outcomes were astonishing. Kids who hadn't talked for months discovered their voices while interacting with Luna, and those hesitant to trust gained confidence through Storm's gentle mentoring. Dr. Sarah, a prominent authority in cold weather animal rescue, authored multiple research articles on the remarkable relationship between the two siblings. "Their bond challenges our perception of animal awareness," she stated. "Storm's ongoing protective actions and Luna's instinctive healing skills indicate emotional intelligence we are just starting to understand." Martha had gathered the thousands of letters they received throughout the years into a collection of volumes titled Letters to Luna and Storm, with the profits aiding additional rural animal rescue efforts. A notably powerful letter was received from a veteran suffering from PTSD. Seeing Storm protect his sister that evening, persisting against overwhelming challenges, allowed me to comprehend my own battle more clearly. If a puppy can exhibit such bravery and devotion, then I can too. The achievements of the farm led to a series of satellite sanctuaries throughout Minnesota, each focusing on various facets of animal rescue, while adhering to the fundamental values shown by Luna and Storm: unwavering love, patience, and the restorative benefits of companionship. Despite their old age, Luna and Storm preserved their unique bond. Although they are slower now, they continue to carry out their daily rounds, monitoring new arrivals and providing comfort where necessary. Luna's folded ear had turned into a signature trait, as children frequently requested to softly stroke it while listening to her tale. Tom and Martha, both in their late 70s, had planned for the farm's future via a trust and a committed group of successors. The affection that saved two puppies that evening, Tom often remarked, has developed into something that will endure beyond us. A unique tradition arose. Annually, on the anniversary of their rescue, the farm hosted a Night of Warmth celebration. Individuals would gather blankets and donations for animal shelters, exchange tales of optimism, and observe Luna and Storm enjoy their unique anniversary gift: warm, dog-friendly hot chocolate. The occasion consistently wrapped up with a candlelight vigil at the exact location where they were discovered, now adorned with a tiny monument stating, "Here, love triumphed over cold, and hope found its place." As Luna and Storm entered their twilight years, their legacy persisted in expanding. The kids who initially understood compassion from their tale were now taking their own kids to the farm. Fresh waves of rescue animals discovered solace in their tender care, and on chilly Minnesota nights, their tale continued to be shared as a reminder that even during the bleakest times, love offers the brightest light of all. Ultimately, Luna and Storm accomplished more than merely enduring that -22-degree F night. They demonstrated to the world that when love and hope unite, miracles are not merely occasional. They produce infinite waves of warmth that persist in influencing lives, both human and animal, for generations ahead.